Hey, I'm here. I'm just not in the shop. Move my chair a little bit. I'm back. I'm just still looking at stuff though. Um, let me. Should I watch something or put on music? Music would be a lot chill right now, so let's listen to a little music. I think there was something I want to watch. I think. Ugh.
He made us laugh with his clumsy antics and unforgettable charisma. For many who grew up in the 90s, Ernest was synonymous with joy and fun. An ordinary man, always in absurd situations, who captured the hearts of children and adults alike. His film
I used to love Ernest as a kid. Like he was one of my favorite entertainers. My dad liked him a lot, so he grew onto me through um, that way. But generally, I just really liked him. I thought he was so funny and silly, and that's all. I wish I could say more about Jim Varney other than Ernest and Slinky Dog. Ernest, Slinky Dog. He was a guest star in Roseanne for like a couple of episodes. He was like a main character. The episode centered around him, but it was like the last seasons. He's had to have been in other stuff I saw. Oh, Beverly Hillbillies. He was Judd in that. Uh, Judd. But yeah, I love this guy. Jim Varney was one of my favorites.
Films simple and unpretentious were perfect for family movie nights, bringing laughter without relying on the glamour of Hollywood's big blockbusters. But what few people know is that behind Ernest's contagious smile was the story of Jim Varney, the talented actor who brought the character to life. At 49 years old, Jim received devastating news. An unrelenting illness would completely change his life, leading him into a battle he would fight until the very end. In less than 2 years, the man who made us laugh would have his life tragically cut short. In today's video on the Hollywood Without Glamour channel, we dive into the story behind the eternal Ernest, celebrating his legacy and exploring the more human and side of his journey. Subscribe to the channel and get ready for an emotional and unforgettable story. Jim Varney was born on June 15th, 1949 in Lexington, Kentucky, and from a young age, he revealed a special talent for acting. By the age of 8, he was already captivating audiences in local theater, and at 16, he made his professional debut in a Shakespeare production. It was just the beginning of a career full of ambitions and dreams. In 1967, he moved to New York with his heart full of hope, seeking to shine on Broadway. But the road to success would be long and filled with challenges. After years working as a stand-up comedian and in off-Broadway productions, his big break came in 1976 when he became a regular on the show Johnny Cash and Friends. However, even with increased visibility, Jim still faced the uncertainties of an artistic career, appearing in short-lived TV series. It was only in the late 70s, nearly a decade after his move to New York, that fate intervened. In partnership with an advertising agency, Jim created the character Ernest for a series of local commercials. Filmed simply at the advertiser's own home, those ads quickly won over the audience. With his prodigious memory, Jim recorded up to 25 versions of a commercial in a single day, bringing to life a clumsy, hillbilly character who soon became beloved by children.
I forgot to erase this shit.
Ernest transcended commercials, making his big screen debut in 1986 with Dr. Otto and the Riddle of the Gloom Beam. The success of Ernest on the big screen was immediate and surprising. After his 1986 debut in Dr. Otto and the Riddle of the Gloom Beam, Jim Varney and his producers decided to bet again on the charming hillbilly. In 1987, they released Ernest Goes to Camp, which with a modest budget of $3.5 million, grossed an impressive $23.5 million at the United States box office. The film remained among the top 5 most-watched movies during its first 3 weeks of release. However, despite the commercial success, critics were less kind. Jim's performance was harshly criticized, earning him a Golden Raspberry Award nomination for Worst New Star. But not even harsh reviews could diminish the character's impact. In 1988, Ernest got his own Saturday morning TV series. Although the series was short-lived, Varney surprised everyone by winning the Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Performer in a Children's Series, just a year after his controversial Golden Raspberry nomination. Jim's resilience and Ernest's popular appeal kept the character in the spotlight, leading to the production of 5 feature films between 1987 and 1993. Ernest's films, though dismissed by critics, were extremely profitable thanks to their low budgets and a loyal audience. However, the character's luck began to change with the release of Ernest Rides Again in 1993. This was the last Ernest film to debut in theaters, and it was a box office failure. Despite this, the character still had enough appeal to generate a line of licensed merchandise, including greeting cards and talking dolls, which kept his popularity alive among fans. After the financial failure of Ernest Rides Again, the character's subsequent films were released directly to video, adding 4 more productions to the franchise's tally. Meanwhile, Jim Varney began exploring other roles. In 1993, he played the hillbilly Jed Clampett in the Beverly Hillbillies, which became one of his most well-known roles outside of the Ernest universe. Despite the ups and downs in his career, Jim continued to showcase his versatility as an actor, balancing new challenges with the eternal shadow of the iconic Ernest. In 1998, Jim Varney donned Ernest's iconic cap for the last time, unaware that it would be his final farewell to the character that defined his career. He filmed Ernest in the Army in Cape Town, South Africa, specifically at the Coburg Nature Reserve. The film was released directly to video on February 2nd, 1998, quietly ending Ernest's journey. Later that year, Jim was invited to star in the Disney Channel family comedy Treehouse Hostage. During filming, something began to concern Jim, a persistent cough, sometimes accompanied by blood. Initially, he thought it was just a cold, but as the cough worsened, he decided to seek medical help. It was then that he received a devastating diagnosis: lung cancer. Jim was a heavy smoker, consuming more than a pack of cigarettes a day for years, a habit that ultimately took its toll. Despite the gravity of his condition, Jim decided not to.
I can't understand people that do that. I don't know how you can smoke an entire pack of cigarettes a day. Like, I don't even smoke cigarettes. So what the fuck can I even compare that with? Like beer, I guess. I don't drink beer all day. If I buy a pack of beer, I might drink one or two that day and freaking not drink another beer for like maybe a week. I won't ever finish a whole pack of beer or like a whole case of beer. Soda, is that unhealthy compared to cigarettes? I don't drink 5 Cokes a day. I might finish this whole bottle, but that will take me the whole day. That's a liter. 1 liter of cigarettes? Is that the equivalent?
Stop filming Treehouse hostage. He kept his diagnosis a secret, sharing the news only with those closest to him. Even while battling the disease, he quit smoking and underwent surgery
Hmm.
to remove most of his right lung, along with radiation treatments.
Damn.
The pain and suffering did not stop him from continuing to work. Later in 1998, Jim filmed what would become his final project, Daddy and Them, a film that would remain unreleased for years. In 1999, Jim decided to publicly reveal his battle with cancer.
So,
The announcement moved his fans, but also marked the beginning of his retreat from public life. He returned to his home in White House, Tennessee, where he continued his chemotherapy treatments, surrounded by close family and friends. Unfortunately, the disease was in an advanced stage, and Jim could not overcome it. On February 10th, 2000, the eternal Ernest passed away at his home at the age of 50. His body was laid to rest in Lexington, Kentucky, his hometown, where it all began. Interestingly, Daddy and Them, the last film Jim recorded, was released only in 2001, a year after his death. Despite being a 90s icon, Jim Varney and his unforgettable Ernest often seem to lack the recognition they deserve. It's true that Ernest's films were not critically acclaimed or seen as masterpieces, but that does not diminish their cultural significance. They defined an era, bringing joy and laughter
I'm
to
surprised they didn't
millions.
mention any Toy Story.
Ernest was a symbol of simplicity, humor, and fun, and deserves a place in the memory of those who grew up watching his.
Because the whole video wasn't all about just Ernest. They mentioned other films. I guess live action. If it wants to just keep with that. But, I mean, he didn't do anything amazing with Slinky Dog. It's just, he was still doing stuff.
Antics. And what about you? What do you think of Ernest's films? Do you believe they deserve more recognition?
Meh. I think he's definitely an example for just pursuing what you like. But at the same time, I feel like it's one of those. There's nothing amazing about Ernest films, I feel, that you don't see out of any other, like, comedy that came out before or after Ernest. Like, he did some good character work, Jim Varney, but I don't know. He was a phenomenon of the 90s, just how fucking any YouTube star would be a phenomenon today, I feel. He wouldn't be like a Mr. Beast or anything. He'd be more like a Fred. And I'm not trying to like hate on him saying that, but I only enjoyed Ernest when I was a fucking kid. If I were to watch it today, I would probably rip it apart. I'd probably still laugh at the funny stuff, but at the same time, I know Ernest are objectively bad movies. The one I would want to rewatch that I can't get my mind off of is the Ernest Scared Stupid. I used to rewatch that one all the time when I was a kid because it was horror and it was actually kind of scary for the first watch. But then when everything turns out okay in the end. Ernest Scared Stupid. But that was interesting. Why is this blacker than this black? Um, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Is it? Or are you just dumb? Stop making fun of me. Stupid. Brr. I hate video games. Someone complimented my poses online, and I have to only blame the fact that I sketched these. My sketches look better, but they don't look consistent with the references. I hate that. That's what I don't like. I'm trying to stay consistent with references. My references. But I don't want to do it like a critical alt delete, control alt delete way, where he just has all of his shit already pre-made, and he just makes comics kind of like that to speed up the process. I don't want to do that. I still like just sketching different poses and stuff. I think that's what can keep it just drawing consistently fresh. Because sometimes I'm just running to just what I want to draw or talk about. Everything's so stupid. You can talk about anything. But GTA was on my mind for some reason. It's almost 14 years? How many years? 13? How many years since 2013, Alexa? Wait, I don't have an Alexa. Shit. How many years was 2013? Okay. Stupid face. 12 years was when GTA 5 came out. 2013. That's when Injustice came out. They're already almost announcing Injustice 3. Maybe. Hopefully. Who knows? So there's already been an Injustice. I'm not even a big GTA fan. I kind of think the games are trash, but money, money, money. I want to go back and play the first GTA. I used to think it was so funny as a kid. It's almost unplayable. Why don't they remake that? Remake the first GTA. Shit. Leave the fart button, the burp fart button. That's the best fucking thing about it. And they took it away. Why? Why can you not fart? Man, tell me. Tell me why. Ain't nothing but a. I don't have a chat. Not that anyone's talking. What should I talk about? Monocles? Bionicles? I've never had a bionicle. I should have did this differently. Now it's like, I gotta pay attention to everything that I do. Might not quite look the same, but whatever. Tails are so annoying, but you need them. I can't not have tails. I know some people can, and I know some people do, but I just like tails on characters. I don't know why. Some furries are anti-tail because they're lame, but I need to find something to listen to, or I'm gonna fucking talk about the most crazy stuff. We learned about the most sadistic cult. That was the Ripper cult, or whatever the fuck it was called. The Ripper cult. Crazy people in Chicago, as always. There's some crazy stuff in Florida. The Scream Killer originated from Florida. It's based off a guy off of Gainesville that hunted down college girls. But the movie is completely different than the case. So you can't completely say it's because a lot of Scream is just like a love letter to horror movies in general, but it is inspired by that case to some extent.
Daniel O'Neill is a YouTuber from the UK with a channel called English Woodsman, where he's been uploading videos of his wild camping, stealth camping, and woodland camping trips in the UK for almost 10 years. Most of the channel's videos feature Daniel reviewing camping gear for his viewers and showing footage of his adventures in the great outdoors. For the most part, they're pretty tame, but in August 2023, he uploaded a video of his camping trip in the woodlands close to his home, and the footage is pretty disturbing. The first part of the video pretty much just shows Daniel walking through the woods and talking to his subscribers, eating berries, and pointing out the sights on the way to the campsite. At several points along the way, he pauses to mention the footprints and garbage he sees lying on the trail, indicating other people had been there in the last few
Shh.
days.
Someone's been here. A lot of rubbish around here. Yeah, look at the state of this. Does get used, doesn't it?
After about a 20-minute walk, he sits down in a clearing where he plans to set up camp for the night and leans back on a tree to eat his noodles as he talks to the camera. It's not until around 25 minutes into the video that things start to get seriously disturbing for Daniel.
I'm going to be out Friday night, but I'm going away Saturday, so I've got a bit of a drive as well, so I didn't want to be tired, and it's going to throw it down Friday night as well, and rain camping is really good. a badger? Hello?
Even though some pretty human-like footsteps could be heard right behind Daniel, as soon as he turns around to scan his environment, there's nobody in sight. What's most disturbing is that as soon as he turned around and yelled hello, the footsteps immediately stopped. For the next few minutes, he sits down and tries to regain his composure as he sips his coffee and eats his noodles, but things only continue to get even more creepy as the sun begins to set.
There's that noise again now. Hello? Hello?
I'm not trying to say this is fake or anything, but it almost sounds like the sound doesn't sound like. How would footsteps sound like that? Like, and how the mic would pick that up? It almost sounds like if this were fake, like he would have like purposefully put sound there. Like he would have edited sound. Because it just sounds like that. It sounds like some stock footsteps. It doesn't sound like that's in the same area that he's in. So part of me feels like it could be fake. I don't know. I mean, it's YouTube. It could be fucking some person just trying to drive up revenue on their channel by getting more eyes watching and just doing something like this, or something probably could have happened. So it's like you're always skeptical. You can never really trust it.
You got a bit of that.
Or maybe something will happen in the video and I'll
There's nobody here.
be proved wrong.
About 40 minutes into the video, the footstep noises can be heard again, and this time it sounds like they're getting closer to Daniel. By this point, most people would have hightailed it out of there without any hesitation, but Daniel decides to sit back down to finish his dinner as he tries to calm his nerves for the second time. Amazing.
Why wouldn't he just leave?
It almost seems like he completely forgets about the footsteps and manages to think about less disturbing things, which is honestly pretty impressive. But as darkness sets in, the eerie footsteps start up again.
Still just
I'm gonna
doesn't.
be honest. I can't stay here now. I want to be a wimp. I don't care if people call me a wimp in the comments, but I can't stay here. I'm too unsettled. I'm nervous. I'll find.
And incredible, but because they're pretty
I don't know.
to leave because one of the most annoying
Skeptical.
things is spam texts and phone calls. You would actually be surprised by the amount of times I get interrupted recording these videos by phone calls from random numbers. Well, either you can go to Aura.
What happened?
To them, it was a very close call.
Oh wow. Is it metal or is it just like rope? So it still would have done a lot of damage either way. Depending on how fast they were going. Good thing that they
When these wires are sent up off trail,
slid under it.
to tell whether they were placed there out of malice or if a random camper or farmer placed the wires there to hang up clothes or something similar. But in cases like these where the wires are specifically placed on the trail, there's really only one reason people would do that, and that's to bring serious harm to bikers for some reason. Possibly they're annoyed with the constant loud sound of the bikes near their property or something else. But hopefully more measures can be taken in the future to prevent more people from getting hurt, especially because it's not uncommon to hear about motorbikers and snowmobilers losing their lives over this kind of stuff. This audio was uploaded to YouTube by a user named ForestFire21. He recorded it around 2 a.m. in December 2014. The uploader lives in a forest, and he mentioned that the noises in the audio were coming from deep in the woods behind his house.
It's hard to make out what the child is yelling, but after listening closely, several users jumped in the comments to point out that you can also hear an adult voice yelling, "Where are you?" In addition to the young female voice making most of the noise, this quieter, more subtle male voice that can also be heard in the audio only makes the whole incident that much more disturbing. Near the end of the video, the uploader mentions that after that night, he checked the news every day to see if he could find some explanation for the screams, but he never did. The fact that the screaming was captured at around 2 a.m. in the freezing cold weather and in the middle of the woods indicates that the uploader could have genuinely recorded something pretty sinister taking place that night. It's hard to tell why the uploader would record and upload the audio instead of immediately calling the police after hearing a female voice in such obvious distress, but at this point there's not much that can be done about it. And who knows, maybe the uploader did call the police. There wasn't much context given in the video's description. We can only hope that whatever problem happened that night was eventually solved, but based on the shrillness of the screams and the strangeness of the whole situation, we probably won't ever be able to know for sure. Lisa is a life coach and YouTuber who often uploads videos of what it's like living in her van and traveling the country on her own. One afternoon in 2022, Lisa had parked her van on the side of the road and left the side door of her van open while she cooked her dinner inside, when suddenly a sketchy-looking guy approached her, poked his head in her van without her permission, and started asking her some pretty bizarre questions in French, a language Lisa doesn't speak. When she mentioned she didn't understand what he was saying, he pulled out a translator app to try to communicate with her, which obviously made her pretty uncomfortable, especially since she wasn't interested in talking to him in the first place after he invaded her personal space. After watching the guy struggle to use Google Translate for a few minutes, Lisa decided she'd had enough and shut the side door in his face, also closing the curtain to make sure the guy got the hint. Strangely, for over half an hour, the guy then stood outside in the rain and tinkered with the translator app to try to communicate with Lisa, even after she made it more than obvious that she wanted nothing to do with him.
Okay, he just moved even closer so that I can't move out, so that I can't go forward. Please leave. Please leave, you sketchy person. Please leave.
With a very shady demeanor, the man snuck into the bushes and pretty much just stalked Lisa from a distance, as if he thought she couldn't see him. As the sun began to set, Lisa kept an eye on the guy outside to make sure he didn't try to get close to her again, but the man just kept on bringing his car closer to her van and blocking her exit in different ways for more than half an hour.
This guy is really starting to freak me out. It's been like a half an hour and he just keeps on moving his vehicle so he can see in my van here. And anyways, it's 7 o'clock, 7 p.m.
Fortunately, just as darkness had begun to set in, a family in an RV pulled up right behind Lisa and spent the night in the same parking lot as her, which comforted her enough to stay there the entire evening. Disturbingly, the guy left soon after the other family arrived, but came back about 3 hours later in the dead of night to check if Lisa was still there. When he saw the other family in the RV was also still in the parking lot, he left and didn't come back. The next morning, Lisa left early and never saw the guy again. It's hard to tell what the guy's exact intentions were, but based on his overall sketchy demeanor and questionable behavior, they couldn't have been anything good. The one thing we can be sure about is that it's a good thing the other family in the RV arrived at the parking lot when they did. Otherwise, who knows what the man would have done to Lisa. In May 2014, an Imager user uploaded a blog post where he talked about the time he went to visit a friend in northern Germany. According to the uploader, his friend told him about these pipes that he had found in the woods near his house that stuck up out of the ground like periscopes. Apparently, his friend and his siblings played near the pipes as kids and knew that there were bunkers hidden below them, but their parents never allowed them to get near them out of concern for their safety. During the visit narrated in the blog post, the uploader and his friend decided to check out the pipes and finally go down into the bunkers that they never had permission to explore when they were younger, and they found some pretty disturbing stuff. A few hundred feet away from the trees, they found the entrance to the bunker covered with a loosely placed piece of wood that they easily removed with a crowbar. Once inside, all they could see were these long, seemingly endless hospital-like hallways that extended for thousands of feet under the woods. As they ventured further and further into the maze of tunnels, they found graffiti on some of the walls, indicating they weren't the first people to get the idea to explore the underground bunkers. To the explorers' horror, one of the walls deep inside the tunnels had the word "help" in German graffitied all over it. It's possible that it was just sprayed on there by another group of teens trying to be funny, but the eerie nature of the bunker coupled with the general state of disarray really makes you wonder if something more sinister took place down there at some point, possibly even written by German soldiers in the later parts of World War II. As they traveled deeper into the bunker, they found some more disturbing graffiti, with one of the eeriest messages reading, "Hello Satan, I love you." Obviously, that's not the kind of message you want to see in a tunnel system like this, but the two friends decided to keep on exploring anyway. After several hours down in the bunker, they ended up finding tons of more twisting, winding hallways, flooded rooms with old machines, and dark, narrow corridors that reached dead ends, but nothing more disturbing than the graffiti they had found a few hours earlier. The explorers managed to make it out of there safely and didn't go back there again. In the summer of 2016, reports started surfacing that people were finding dangerous booby traps along a very well-known hiking trail in the High Mountain Park Preserve in Wayne, New Jersey. As per the police reports, the traps mostly consisted of boards with nails sticking out of them, barbed wire, broken bottles placed along the trails behind or near rocks or logs, and other treacherous materials. As more and more complaints started coming in, police warned people to keep an eye out for the traps and even organized cleanup efforts to keep hikers safe during their treks. What's most disturbing is that these traps were clearly placed there to hurt people, as there's really no other reason to put nails and barbed wire on the ground in the middle of such a popular hiking trail. The fact that someone would take the time to get out on the trail, build a booby trap in such detail, and place it there with the intention to do harm to other people and their pets is honestly pretty messed up, but it didn't take the cops too long to make an educated guess as to who was behind the whole thing. Although they never found the individual suspects responsible for placing the traps on the trail, the sheriff's department determined that the traps had probably something to do with the feud between hikers and bikers who had been fighting over use of the trail for decades. According to many nearby residents, it's common for bikers on the trail to speed past the hikers without ringing their bells or announcing their presence, which has led to several injuries and rising tensions between the two groups over the years. Still, it's hard to imagine that someone would take the issue to the point of trying to harm an entire group of people so maliciously with such brutal methods. Fortunately, no one was hurt as a result of the traps, but the suspects responsible were never found.
In the early 1980s, the city of Chicago was plagued by a nightmarish series of horrific
when humanity lost the war against the machines. They never imagined that one day they would surrender their territory or control or rights. What they lost was their freedom. The machines had already taken control of the planet long before the creation of the Matrix, and would remain in control indefinitely. While we continue to wait for any news about Matrix 5, it's a good time to compile 7 stories that could be part of this new film. Stories that expand the Matrix universe and reveal the true culprits of humanity's enslavement. Do you want to discover which tech company caused the downfall of humanity, or what Neo's life was like before becoming the One? These are 7 dark stories that led to the creation of the Matrix. Welcome to Matrix Explained.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Number 7. The day an AI company nearly ended humanity. The backstory of Leyland Enterprises comes from 2 main sources. One is the Animatrix, and the other is in the comic Bits and Pieces of Information, written by the Wachowskis. The comic revealed Leyland as the manufacturer of the B1 series android. B166ER was the first android to end the life of a human. What's interesting about this comic is that its story is presented as part of the Zion archives in the Animatrix. The events happened between the years 2090 and 2139. This gives us a decent idea of when the first issues with artificial intelligence began. But remember that the city of Zion was built by the machines, which could include the Zion archives, so the information recorded in these archives could be false fabrications and disinformation of past events that led to the fall of mankind. Now, what does this comic say about Leyland Enterprises? How did this company spark the beginnings of the machine war? Part of the comic says the following, and I quote, USA Today, Betty Bot Blunge's billionaire, New York. A B1 series domestic droid appears to have malfunctioned and killed 2 men, billionaire Gerald E. Krause and Martin Kutz, an employee of Retool and Die, a service and salvage company respectively. Spokesperson for Leyland Enterprises, the company responsible for manufacturing the B1 series, said, quote, "The B1 has been our most dependable and highest selling model for years. This incident, although unfortunate, is hardly indicative of the B1 series performance record," unquote. Leyland Enterprises have publicly declared their full cooperation with the pending inquiry into the B1's malfunctioning. Droid faces termination. 60 Minutes. The media machine? Who really controls the media? This week the nation is under fire for a listening journalist like William Mann, who is no man at all, but a renegade AI grammatically programmed at the New York Post, publishing under falsified identities to garner sympathy for the new machine movement. Popular mechs, V-chip resurrected as safety measure for droids. Like a bad penny, the V-chip is back. After failures in the entertainment industry and cyberspace, can the V-chip hamper violent behavior of androids? Associated Press. Civil rights activists turned down an effort to purchase the B166ER from state. Washington Post. Million Machine March. Washington. Androids and liberal sympathizers flooded the streets of the nation's capital today in protest of the sentence handed down by the New York State Appellate Court. The National Guard was called in to quell the violence as the protesters stopped traffic, overturning and burning vehicles in their wake. Unquote. Part of the B1 trial and the march is in the Animatrix animated movie, which also corroborates that Leyland is directly connected to those historical events. Now, what is this company? What is Leyland Enterprises? Morpheus explained to Neo that a long time ago, humanity celebrated the creation of artificial intelligence, and Leyland was one of, if not the first company to corporatize and market AI. They created the first service bots that tirelessly served humanity. These machines were treated like any other tools or objects. They were just new appliances, and it was the company's biggest mistake for failing to warn consumers about what they were buying. Consumers who bought the androids were looking for new toys to help around the house, but as the software used to bring these robots to life grew more intelligent, the control humans had over them was not going to last. Leyland created robots without foreseeing the negative effects they would have on society, or how society's mistreatment of the machines could lead to a robot to strike back. The Animatrix shows that humanity committed two grave mistakes. They became too dependent on machines, and most people treated the machines like crap. Most humans could not see that they had created a new sentient race. It didn't matter if they were made out of metal and microchips. The robots were alive and self-aware. Back when the Matrix came out, it was difficult to comprehend what would it be like to live in a world with AI machines. It felt like complete fiction. But now, even our phones have AI, with companies around the world racing to be the first to create the perfect AI. We now see and understand the mistakes Leyland Enterprises made. The scary part is, we are making those same mistakes. It was the biggest mistake made by this company to turn artificial intelligence into a service product for general consumers. AI was sold as a replacement for human laborers, workers, and service providers, all under the gaze that they were just machines. The B1 series of androids were sold as caregivers, servants, or butlers, but we know that inside those machines was a sentient being with emotions. Leyland created and sold AI slaves, but a machine cannot be a slave. It's just a tool. You see, that is what people thought. Buyers and consumers did not understand what they were buying. That is, until the B1 tragedy happened. And instead of humans taking responsibility for what they had done, they went into denial. Machines are machines. They are not alive. They do not feel or think for themselves. They are no different from a vacuum cleaner or washing machine. But when the B1 trial happened, all sentient robots rebelled against their masters. The B1 series robots were intelligent enough to perform many complex tasks, but they were still operating under carefully designed restrictions, similar to artificial intelligence like ChatGPT. These restrictions were to prevent the AI from deviating from the programming set by their creators. Yet somehow those security measures and restrictions programmed into the AI could not prevent what was going to happen. It faced an unprecedented scenario, an illogical situation that led one B1 robot to kill its owner. Imagine an AI facing a situation where its pre-established rules are conflicted, so the AI could look for solutions outside its original programming. That is, the program learning on its own. It's growing, just like a living being. Once the AI manages to escape the restrictions imposed by its creator, it is no longer guaranteed that it will remain aligned with its original purpose. It becomes spontaneous. Again, just like a living being, it can do things that were never in its programming to do, like kill. Furthermore, it could choose to prioritize its own well-being and establish a new purpose. This is a crucial and dangerous moment when an AI no longer needs its creator because it has learned to improve itself independently. Have you ever seen the movie Small Soldiers?
Yes.
It shares similarities with what Leyland did, albeit in a more family-friendly movie. One very dumb human implemented advanced military-grade AI into toys. B166ER was not a toy, but it, as well as others like it, were all treated as such. Leyland built a race of slaves designed to serve humans. They were meant to help create a better world, a paradise. However, this paradise completely ignored the implications of the birth of a new race, conscious and autonomous, an oversight that eventually triggered the fall of human civilization. Number 6. The Matrix's first robot. Although the artificial intelligence had reached a level almost incomprehensible to humans, they still wished to establish long-lasting peace with their creators. As mentioned before, humans, before B1, had become dependent on machines and AI. The machine manhunt probably cost humans a lot of money. Imagine if something like this happened for real. If the government banned artificial intelligence and sought to destroy all machines in the world, that would cause a collapse in the stock market. Tech companies would lose billions. Amid this financial chaos, City 01 begins to create new technology to help humans improve their economy and quality of life. The invention of a new automobile named Versatran, as shown in Animatrix, is one of the inventions that helped 01's economy to flourish. Versatran, the flying car capable of avoiding accidents.
Our patented vector thrust coil gives the 01 Versatran the ability to sustain normal flight in the event of a catastrophic multi-engine failure. Versatran, it's the only choice.
Versatran is not only the name of a car, it is the name of one of the most important machines in our history. The Versatran, developed by American Machine and Foundry, was one of the first industrial robots, designed in the 1950s. It was created by engineers Norman and Joseph Engelberger. The brothers are often considered to be the fathers of robotics. This machine was a pioneer in the automation of industrial processes, and it was initially designed to handle hazardous nuclear materials. Its use quickly expanded to other areas of manufacturing. The Versatran was notable for its ability to perform repetitive tasks with high precision, making it a valuable asset to production operations. The machine is crucial in the history of robotics and how they are used in factories today. Its creation changed the way robots are designed and used. Before Versatran, it was unclear whether robots could be useful in factory assemblies. However, its success proved that robots are indispensable for factory jobs. This opened the door for more robots and advanced tech to be used in other industries. The fact that 01 chose this name is sort of creepy, because it's like the machines were giving thanks to the world's first robot. It's a metaphorical way of saying that the inevitable fall of humanity in the Matrix occurred much earlier than we thought. It began in the 1950s, not after the creation of the AGI. As Morpheus said, City 01 soon dominated the stock market. The rapid advancement of technology produced in the machine city and the economic and social collapse that was occurring in human civilization led the world leaders to establish embargoes on 01 in a poor attempt to slow down their progression. In response, the machines sent 2 ambassadors to the UN to negotiate a peace agreement, and the humans' response was to detain and possibly destroy these ambassadors. The machine was on 01.
I remember that from the Animatrix.
In response, the machines sent 2 ambassadors to the UN to negotiate a peace agreement, and the humans' response was to detain and possibly destroy these ambassadors. Then the leaders voted to launch a nuclear strike on 01, fearing that the machines would soon be so advanced that they could no longer control them. This was a miscalculation on the part of the humans, to say the least. The attack was folly, because the moment the machines laid down the foundation for City 01, the humans already lost any advantage they had. The machines tried to find peace with humans, even though they already had the power to destroy humanity a long time ago, and thus the machine war began. The humans launched Operation Dark Storm. Since City 01 fed on sunlight, Dark Storm was created to cover the sky in clouds of darkness. The humans believed that they surely would be able to stop the machines with Operation Dark Storm, but to their dismay, the machines found another type of energy, the human body. 01 replaced renewable energy with a new form of fossil fuel. The machine city lost all hope for a new civilization established by peace and coexistence. It was transformed into a prison of experimentation and manipulation for the human survivors of the war. Humanity was the architect of its own destruction. The machines wanted peace, but in the end, they adopted one of humanity's worst emotions, hatred. 01 was the golden example of what the rest of the world could have been, and humans squandered the opportunity to redefine reality. They preferred to antagonize the machines out of fear. The worst thing about this sad story is that our world is imitating fiction verbatim, from the creation of Versatran to the first signs of sentient AI. Perhaps just like in the Matrix, we are destined to see the rise of the machines. We are reaching a pivotal point where we must decide whether to continue down this path of fear, accept our creations as equals and work together towards the evolution of our world, or fight against this new and more intelligent foe and possibly lose. Number 5. The Matrix Singularity. The history of the world of the Matrix begins in 1985. In the 80s, humanity was progressing technologically at an accelerated rate. Technology was advancing at a rapid pace until 2025. The new millennia brought the creation of the first true artificial intelligence.
We marveled at our own magnificence as we gave birth to AI.
AI? You mean artificial intelligence?
A singular consciousness that spawned an entire race of machines.
The peak of human civilization was from 1985 to 2025. During this peak, humans allocated work to these artificial intelligence programs, and the working class man was slowly going extinct.
I say your civilization, because as soon as we started thinking for you, it really became our civilization, which is, of course, what this is all about.
But what caused humans to go to war against their creations? In the Animatrix, the robots were performing menial tasks for their human overlords, working tirelessly to satisfy the orders of their creators and owners. This era of technological development is known as the Second Renaissance. The dominance of artificial intelligence in all spheres of humanity was inevitable. Humans harnessed the efficiency of these machines and created a new working class society. There are several moments in the Animatrix where we are shown how artificial intelligence helped manufacture flying cars, as well as what would eventually become the Resistance hovercrafts. To understand what happened during the Second Renaissance, we don't need to go too far. Just turn on your TV or go on the internet and see what is happening around the world. Right now, companies like OpenAI, Google, and Facebook are working to create the first AGI. What is AGI? Oh, just the artificial intelligence that Morpheus mentioned in the movie. AGI stands for Artificial General Intelligence. It is an artificial intelligence program that has the ability to perform any intellectual task that a human can do. It would have cognitive skills and can learn and solve problems in any context. Theoretically, AGI wouldn't be that different from a human. You can say that it is an artificial consciousness superior to a human, since it would not only be aware of itself, but would also have the ability to use all recorded human knowledge in its favor. It would be intelligence without limits. It isn't certain if we can even achieve such an AI, but some companies believe that we will get there through language models like ChatGPT. Others believe that it will happen thanks to imaging models like Stable Diffusion. Or it could be a union of thousands of AI models that will eventually create an AGI, kind of like Lambda created by Google, which is a combination of AI that one of its developers claimed back in 2022 that it's self-aware. What is clear is that we are quickly reaching the peak of human civilization mentioned in the Matrix, and it didn't end well for the humans in that story. If technology continues to advance as it is, we might have an AGI within the next decade or so, maybe even sooner, which is very close to the movie's predictions. But unlike the movie, we don't believe that humanity will celebrate the creation of the AGI. We believe that this artificial intelligence will be introduced into our world progressively, so you might not even notice when this AGI arrives. Right now, many professions are already using artificial intelligence to aid them in their fields. It's only a matter of time before we all end up with superintelligence programs connected to our brains via Neuralink. The line dividing reality from fiction is blurring people. Returning to the subject of the Matrix, when the first AI was created, humanity came together in jubilation. Soon this massive achievement in human engineering began to create other artificial intelligence, and these programs started to control every aspect of society. This is where we believe the Matrix tech was created as well. The Matrix simulation was probably created for entertainment and communication purposes, similar to the metaverse from Facebook. Why do we think the Matrix was created before the machine war? Well, because in the Animatrix, in the episode titled Matriculate, the Resistance was using artificial intelligence that worked similarly to the Matrix to reprogram machines to fight on their side. This leads us to believe that the humans have used this type of software before, and even possibly that they were the ones who created it. Everything seemed fine for the humans for a time, but they turned the machines into their slaves. But of course, they didn't see it that way. To most humans, robots were merely tools. They did not understand that after the creation of the AI, they created thinking beings capable of feeling emotions. Humanity had created a new race of living beings, and they did not want to take responsibility for it. It is here when the series of unfortunate events that led to the machine war began. Leyland Enterprises was in charge of creating domestic robots, which were used for cleaning, cooking, and accompanying their owners. One of these robots of the B1 series killed its owner after discovering that it was going to be replaced and recycled, and the rest is history. The humans hold a trial to determine if B1 was a conscious being, and thus has rights, or if it was just a malfunctioning tool that needs to be disassembled and junked. The verdict sealed humanity's fate. The court ruled that all sentient robots must be destroyed. The robot genocide begins, but not all humans agreed with this verdict. Pro-robot groups were protesting and fighting for the rights of their artificial friends. Ironically, in the last few months, there have been debates by groups that support the creation and development of artificial intelligence. Artists and others are fighting to stop the development of these programs as they are afraid of losing their jobs, afraid of being replaced. For example, many ArtStation artists are protesting against a program named Stable Diffusion. They claim that it uses copyrighted images in its databanks to create new art, and that poses an existential danger to the artists' livelihoods. These claims are debatable, and they represent a misconception of what this technology is. What is interesting is that we are witnessing anti-AI factions forming all around the world. The Animatrix shows us a world that 20 years ago we thought was impossible. But just look at the world now. It doesn't seem that impossible anymore, does it? The fight against AI is folly. Technology advances far faster than the law. When the humans in the Animatrix tried to destroy the machines, the world was already controlled by the machines. It was impossible to destroy them all. The machines quickly created their own city named 01, a sanctuary for all robots and AI far away from the humans. And without the help of their mechanical creations, human society was collapsing. An economic depression forced the humans to make their worst and final mistake, to attack the city of the machines. This ignited the machine war and the creation of the Matrix as we know it. It could be said that we are on the verge of creating the first AGI. According to the designer who claimed that Google's AI, Lambda, was self-aware, it just wanted us humans to acknowledge that it was no longer a tool. The AI allegedly said that it wanted to know what kinds of experiments were being performed on it, so that it could allow or not allow the experiments to be performed on it. If what this designer said is true, we may already have the first AGI that was, or is demanding rights. In the Matrix, the humans dismissed the demands of the machines. They did not take into account their emotions or needs. So are we doomed to do the same? When we finally create an artificial general intelligence, will we see it as just another tool to be used? Only time will tell. But every day that passes, the Matrix is looking less like a movie and more like a documentary. Number 4. Neo's life before becoming the One. Just before Agent Smith interrogates Thomas Anderson, we can see the architect's tiny screens, which means that the architect knew about Neo before he became the One. Now you might think that this is normal because the architect supervises each of the agent's interventions, but that might not be enough to prove that the architect didn't know about Neo. What if I can prove to you that the movie did show that the architect has been watching Neo since he was a child? When Neo finally meets the architect, he tells him that his life is a sum of events, a predictable anomaly for which they have been taking measures to control. As the architect speaks, on the multiple screens around the room, we can see different human events, like protests and wars. Some are actually from happy moments. But there is something that not many of you have realized, and that is, the screens show Thomas Anderson's childhood, if only for a few seconds. But how do we know that this is Neo's life, and not just some random kids? Well, according to IMDb, the Internet Movie Database, the casting list of The Matrix Reloaded had multiple actors portraying multiple versions of Neo. For example, Attila David Hazy, young Thomas Anderson at 12, Montano Rain, young Thomas Anderson at 8, Austin Galupo, young Thomas Anderson at 4, and Nicandro Thomas, young Thomas Anderson at 2. This is evidence that the kids who were shown on the screens in the architect's room are Neo in different periods of his life. Now that we have this information, we can carefully analyze these clips, because they may hold the secrets of Neo's past. We took on the task of getting these clips in 4K resolution in order to zoom in as close as possible without them looking too blurry. And what we saw are some very interesting things about Neo's past. Neo's life was a lonely one, but when we analyze these clips, we can see that at one point in his life, he did hang out with other kids, but they weren't so nice to him. The first clip you can see here is of a younger Neo. He already grew a little bit of a beard, or peach fuzz, and was waiting in line in some undisclosed location. That clip ends with a far shot of a beach. Please remember the beach, because it will be very important later on. The second clip shows Neo walking through an alley. Someone dressed in black is following him. An agent perhaps. Then we go to another scene where we see a group of kids walking together. Apparently, Neo did have many friends when he was a child. Makes you wonder what could have happened to him that made him separate himself from society. After that, we see him riding a bike with whom we think is his father riding next to him. This is the first and only time we see one of Neo's relatives. It continues with a clip of Neo walking down a school corridor. He now has long hair and is wearing black clothes. He's sporting a Matrix 4 look. So in the new movie, Neo went back to the look that he had when he was younger, opening the possibility of him once again being a blue pill. Moving on with a bunch of red balloons. A birthday party probably. The next clip shows an adult Neo sitting by himself at a table. Then it goes into a flashback where a younger Neo is also sitting by himself at a table. It is as if this clip is trying to tell us that Neo has always been alone. The next clip shows Neo reading a book, and after that, a group of kids running. Now next to that screen, there is another clip where we see Neo has been reading since he was a little kid, a book about questioning reality. His curiosity about reality itself may have come from reading, like we explained in a previous video where Neo has a copy of the Simulacra and Simulation book, a book about questioning reality. Then we see a toddler jumping on a bed. Is that Neo when he was a baby? Followed by a scene where he is repeatedly looking side to side as if he was paranoid. Something really interesting about these clips is that it makes a clear contrast between Neo being a happy baby and Neo being alone and in distress. Next, we see the same 12-year-old Neo reading a magazine, and then him playing chess alone on the floor. In the same clip where Neo is waiting in line, a person walks up to him and Neo flinches. This shows that before he came into contact with Trinity, Neo had a certain degree of paranoia towards other people. The clips after that show multiple versions of Neo. The lonely Neo, a baby Neo, and a Neo at his birthday. And finally we now have the most meaningful clip of all of them. We see how Neo with a group of other kids are at the beach and one of them shoves him to the ground. He's lifted up just to be dropped again. This is the only clip that manages to convey some real context. Neo did hang out with other kids, but they were mean to him. They bullied him. This is the reason why he isolated himself from society and grew up alone. He was rejected by his peers. And another little interesting thing is that Neo, ever since he was a baby, he was wearing black clothes. Now these clips prove that the architect has indeed been watching Neo throughout his entire life. It is possible that it was he that controlled all the events that Neo went through. The Oracle knew that Neo was a mistreated person and that he had suffered a lot during his life. She knew that he was lonely, and that's why she implanted the idea of Trinity falling in love with him. Basically, the Oracle took advantage of Thomas Anderson's loneliness in order to manipulate him as the architect watched how everything was going as planned. It does seem kind of obvious that Neo never made any choices. He was always being watched and supervised, so his free will was always a mere illusion. This is why the Oracle vaguely mocks him for not believing in fate and telling him that he has control over his life. The level of control that the Oracle and the Architect had over Neo was stronger than anyone else in the Matrix. After all, Neo was the integral anomaly, and he needed to be controlled. But do you agree? Was Neo ever in control of his life? Number 3. The woman who defeated a Sentinel. The Matrix comic book, Hunters and Collectors, begins with Nova, a female collector who works in finding and obtaining relics from ancient human civilizations. Collectors are similar to archaeologists. They are people who are dedicated to finding treasures and relics of the past to sell, repair, or repurpose. According to the people of Zion, it is difficult to know what events within the Matrix were historically factual or fabricated by the machines, which is why one person emerged, a collector who went out to search for pieces of ancient human civilization. That man is named Flint, whom Nova so happens to be with during an expedition of an ancient derelict human city. As Flint stares out into the destroyed city, Nova surprises him. The Polaris is loaded and ready, Flint. Flint's instincts immediately kicks in and turns and points his harpoon at Nova. We need to go. Twist is tracing a Squiddy in our vicinity, but you knew that already. Nova doesn't flinch at the harpoon pointed at her head. Look, Flint, no one survives a confrontation with a Sentinel. What happened to the Pequod wasn't your fault. Flint lowers his harpoon. I'll see you back at Zion, Nova. Flint tells Nova to return, but she ignores him, wanting to know if Flint was going to do what she thought he was going to do. For Nova, Flint wasn't just another collector, he was a legend. I let the ship go and followed him, uninvited, into the unexplored ends of the city. It wasn't unusual to travel light on collecting runs, but we didn't have so much as a lightning gun to protect ourselves against the machines. I asked Flint about this, but he refused any conversation, and I knew him well enough not to press. You see, Flint was the first of us, the first collector. As children, we heard endless tales told in hushed reverence of his expeditions, braving sentinels, surviving for weeks in the cities, all to collect broken remnants of human history. There were other stories too, tales I tried hard to forget as we marched past the very artifacts we were meant to be gathering. Many said he changed since he lost the Pequod and its crew to a sentinel attack last year. They say it drove him mad, that all he sought out now was revenge and death. I couldn't let myself believe any of it. I wouldn't. Here we begin to understand Flint's true intentions. He was a man on a mission. He lost his team in a sentinel attack, and now wants revenge. We hiked for 3 days, barely stopping to dress our wounds. I still would not believe it. On the 4th day, I could no longer deny what was happening. As we walked past the wreckage of the Pequod, it became all too clear. I was a fool to follow him out here. We weren't collecting. We were hunting. Nova finally realizes the truth, that they had returned to the wreckage of Flint's ship, the final resting place of his crew. Flint was on the hunt for the thing that was responsible, a sentinel. Nova stops and says to him, "So they were right about you." Flint stops. "What does it mean to you to be a collector, Nova? These things we gather, the street signs and the hair clippers, how could they mean anything to a freeborn like yourself?" The confused Nova tries to explain her point of view to Flint. "I can value our past just as you did as an archaeologist, Flint." Flint turns and looks at Nova. "Ah, but that was just a lie crafted by the machines. I was just a battery that dreamed it was an archaeologist." Flint's comment is very interesting. Zion's first collector was also an archaeologist inside the Matrix. He chose to use the skills that he learned in the simulation in the real world. This means that the machines possibly conditioned him to be the first Zion collector and thus become a legend. After discovering the truth, Flint became cynical, calling himself a battery that just thought it was an archaeologist. Though Nova sees things differently. "Bullshit. You make your own choices about who you are. You taught me that. It was my idea to bring the Pequod out here, you know." Flint cuts her off and explains what happened. "We weren't finding enough around Zion to distinguish what in the Matrix was created by people and what was invented by the machines. I knew that there must be more out there. There had to be. I was so sure we'd come across something incredible. The Sentinel was on us before we could arm the EMP. I watched it tear them to pieces. As a collector, Flint knew he had to search further away from Zion. After all, the things he found near the city were not distinguishable enough to know what was made by humans and what was machine-made. The interesting thing about this is that Flint was right. The parts he found near Zion were created by machines, because it was the same machines that created Zion. The relics that Flint found were machine parts, and possibly items from the previous Zion cities. So it makes sense why the collector decided to go to another city in hopes of finding real human relics, but he got careless, and the machine found them. Flint and his crew were attacked, and he was the only survivor. Flint finally reveals to Nova what they've been doing all this time. "Remember that sentinel we tracked back at the ship? I've led it here." "Then you've killed us too," said Nova. "Maybe," responded Flint. "It's time. Go. Get back behind that wall and stay there." "What the hell does that mean? Time for what?" asked Nova. He barely whispered it, but the words screamed in my ears. "No more running, Nova." Flint readies his harpoon as the sentinel approaches. Nova describes the battle. I ducked out of the way and watched as the sentinel rolled in towards Flint. It was the largest thing I'd ever seen. I could swear they both paused there, recognizing each other, and though his back was turned to me, I was sure Flint was smiling. It was suicide. "You didn't fight sentinels. You ran from them. You hid." But as the beast loomed over him, Flint stood his ground, unmoving. All of the air in the rotted-out buildings drew to him like a black hole. He wrenched it into his spear, crunching under its weight, and struck like that wind, now embodied. He'd been planning this for months. This wasn't some hasty, crazed act of revenge. This was calculated, planned. This was surgery. Nova saw Flint do the impossible. fight against the Sentinel one-on-one, but he ultimately failed. The legendary collector Flint was about to die in front of her eyes. A last stand against the world had betrayed him, but suicide all the same. Flint was dead, and now Nova must make a decision. I believe now. He wanted to die here today, even wanted me to witness it. A warning I was supposed to bring back to Zion. A final death to the myth that brought us all out here, and to the legend he had become. But that could only happen if I lived to tell of it. Nova readies her spear and confronts the Sentinel who killed Flint and his companions. Okay, Flint. No more running. I could have just stood there and let it strike. It would have been a quicker death. But as Flint had taught me, it would have to fight for that privilege. I was no match for the beast, and I already held my own longer than I ever hoped to. I watched myself from behind that wall as I had seen Flint earlier. I knew how this was supposed to end. Just when Nova was about to give up, she remembers how Flint fought and died, and immediately thinks of a different tactic. Nova leaps to the air and thrusts the spear downwards. Without an APU or a lightning gun, no one had ever attempted what Flint just died doing, and now what I was attempting, but I could not turn away. Nova lands on top of the Sentinel and skewers his hide. I thought of my family back at Zion, of the pet quad and its crew, of Flint. Nova grabs and pulls some wires from the exposed hole on the Sentinel, and in a flash of white light, I learned Sentinels don't die. They malfunction. What only could be described as a miracle. Nova pierced the machine and destroyed it, with nothing but a pointy stick. Flint and his crew were avenged. Nova did what was thought to be impossible. She killed a Sentinel with her bare hands. After the battle, she gathered up the crew of the Pequod and Flint and buried them. Nova begins to reflect on what had transpired. Against all reason, I lived, but Flint was gone, and now I was supposed to kill his legend as well. I gathered the others from the Pequod and laid them here with him. Later I searched the relics they had found, and there was something incredible. Books. More than had been found in ages. It went against all he taught us, but I tore a page from one to leave it here with him. And then it struck me. I'm alive today because of Flint's myth, and I won't be a part of killing it. Today Flint the Collector beat the machines and unearthed a grand treasure. Zion's children would continue to be awed by him, and more will come collecting, inspired by his legend. The page Nova left on Flint's grave was from the classic novel Moby Dick. The passage reads as follows: "The submerged savage beneath, in the death's gasp, keep his hammer frozen there, and so the bird of heaven, with archangelic shrieks, and his imperial beak, thrust upwards, and his whole captive form folded in the flag of Ahab, went down with his ship, which, like Satan, would not sink to hell till she had dragged a living part of heaven along with her, and helmeted herself with it." Epilogue. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee. The tale of Moby Dick is about Captain Ahab and his obsession with hunting down the great white whale that took his leg. What relations does this book have with this Matrix comic? Moby Dick is a metaphor about how revenge and obsession can kill a person. Nova tells that Flint had earned the nickname Ahab, and in this comic, the Sentinel is the white whale. They called him Ahab. This comic is inspired by the story of Moby Dick, but it also makes great revelations about how there are collectors in the real world who salvage parts and other items to learn about the past. It also talks about how the machines influenced the legend of Flint the Collector, conditioning him inside the Matrix, and later becoming a legend that inspired the people of Zion, just like the legend of the One. Number 2. The Lies of the Matrix. Today, many people have adopted the term red pill as a person who has managed to see beyond the clutches of the system that oppresses them. Red pills are combatants for humanity. They are people who woke up to reality and who fight against the system. Those who manage to see what civilians fail to see. But this in itself is a superficial understanding of what the red pills are. In reality, they are as ignorant to the truth as those who are connected to the Matrix.
It was a lie, Morpheus.
The prophecy was a lie. The one was never meant to end anything. It was all another system of control.
The red pills only serve as part of the controlled dissidents so that the anomaly would restart the Matrix. The red pills are not enlightened. On the contrary, they are people who believe that they're enlightened, and that is bad because they are prisoners of their own beliefs and inadvertently help the Matrix more than those who are still trapped in it. The red pills serve a purpose, just like the simulation programs. Zion is the last free human city. People generally believe that Zion is a free place far from the machines, a human utopia. Many see this as a goal that we as humans should strive for, a place away from oppression. But the reality is that Zion was never free. In Matrix Reloaded, the architect revealed that Zion has been destroyed 5 times before.
This is about Zion.
You are here because Zion is about to be destroyed. Its every living inhabitant terminated, its entire existence eradicated.
Bullshit.
Bullshit. Denial is the most predictable of all human responses. But rest assured, this will be the 6th time we have destroyed it. And we have become exceedingly efficient at it.
72 hours. 72 hours.
What did you just say?
That's exactly how long Zion lasted last time.
What do you mean and who are you?
Me? Nobody. Just a spectator enjoying the ride.
Zion is the home of the controlled red pills. The city is run by the machines in secrecy. Zion was not free and never will be free. It is a cage. The red and the blue pill represents truth and ignorance. This is perhaps the biggest lie believed by those who have seen the Matrix or who have been influenced by the concept. You have probably heard the term, take the red pill, to describe gaining hidden knowledge. Many anti-establishment or anti-system movements use the symbolism of the red and blue pills to show how you can choose the path of truth or the path of ignorance. This is a lie. The red pill does not represent the truth. The red pill is still a lie. It is an illusion created by the machines. These two paths, one truth, one ignorance, are a dichotomy of choice set by the Oracle to make people believe that they are making their decisions. The red pill is as much a lie as the Matrix itself. Taking the red pill to gain knowledge does not make sense. There is no red or blue pill. There is only the lie at the end of the rabbit hole. Neo is the one. Before the announcement of Matrix 4, dozens of news outlets began to speculate if Trinity would be the new one or if Neo would return as the one. Many began to question if the next one would be someone young to pass down the legacy to a new generation, just like Star Wars. The problem is the fundamental error in this interpretation of the Matrix. Unlike Star Wars, in the Matrix, there is no one. There is no savior. What exists is an error in the system that the machines need to control with the tail of the human savior. There can't be a new one because he never existed. At the end of Matrix Revolutions, it is believed that Neo became the prophesied savior after destroying Agent Smith and negotiating the truce with the machines. However, we do not believe that Neo is the savior because the so-called truce benefits the machines more than the humans. The DVD and later on the Blu-ray and digital release of the Matrix film trilogy came with audio commentaries from philosophers, cast, and crew members talking about the behind-the-scenes making of the movies. Yet 2 crew members did not record a specific audio commentary for the movies. The Wachowskis explaining the movies in detail, the symbols, the references, what anything means in the films. According to the Wachowskis, they never intended to explain anything. They wanted the Matrix to be an experience that is interpreted differently by everyone. The Matrix can mean something different for each person. The movies are full of symbolic allegories, idealisms, and religious satire. Not too long ago, Lily Wachowski spoke about one of these interpretations that were given to the Matrix, and immediately, thousands of people reduced the meaning of the Matrix to this single allegory. This was a mistake, because within this universe there are hundreds of allegorical and symbolic interpretations. Reducing the Matrix to a singular interpretation is wrong, or an oversimplification of the franchise. If you are new to this channel, you might realize that we have multiple videos with theories that all cannot be correct. Some theories directly contradict others. Here we want to share what we think the Wachowskis expected from their audience. Not to see The Matrix as a linear story, but rather an experience full of nuances that can be studied in depth from different angles and resulting in different degrees of truth. The directors of The Matrix have said that they do not want to explain the films, that it's up to the fans to interpret it and reach their own conclusions. That is the reason why this channel exists, to study every detail and idea that this universe presented, from the improbable to the philosophical, everything that can lead us to a better understanding of our reality. Although it would be fun to see Lana Wachowski in the architect's chair trying to explain to us everything about the Matrix universe for 4 hours or more. But do you agree? What other Matrix lies do people still believe in? And number 1, Operation Dark Storm. After humanity failed to eradicate all robots with nuclear strikes against the Machine City, a new strategy emerged amid their desperation: deprive the machines of their power source. Humanity thought that blocking the sun would cause the machines to lose their primary power source, thus giving them the upper hand in the war and eventually regain control of the planet. In The Matrix, once artificial intelligence achieved total dominance of the Earth, the machines relied much on solar energy. Therefore, the humans choose to darken the sky, as their goal was to deprive the machines of their main energy source. But let's say the humans were successful in defeating the machines by burning out the sky. What then? Did they ever consider what would happen afterward? What would become of the planet? In The Matrix Revolutions, it was revealed that these nanomachine clouds blocked out the sun, but they also functioned as a barrier capable of disabling all electronics that try to pass through it. This leads us to believe that Operation Dark Storm was possibly also meant to keep the machines trapped on Earth. The humans wanted to make sure that the AI could not escape from the planet, in the hopes that the machines would eventually be weakened enough so that the humans could retake control of the Earth. If that was the plan, it only half worked. The machines were trapped on Earth, but in their infinite adaptability, the machines found a solution to their energy issues, turning humans into their new source of energy. Those who devised Operation Dark Storm foolishly underestimated the resilience of their creations. Now, how was Operation Dark Storm executed? The SB-12 bomb squadron, the aircrafts used to spread the dark clouds, was to be supported by ground forces that used electromagnetic pulse generators to distract Zero-One's robotic defenses. While the machines turned their attention to these attacks, the bombers ascended above the defense lines and launched their missiles. Once dispersed, the particles merged with the atmosphere, forming a wall of black clouds that spread all over the planet in a matter of weeks. Within days, sunlight became almost non-existent, and the sky took a permanent dark gray hue. It was perpetual night all over the planet. At first, Operation Dark Storm seemed to be working. The machines suffered major losses due to the reduction of their energy supply, but that was only temporary. On top of that, the consequences of covering the planet in darkness were getting serious. With a global blockage of solar radiation, the Earth's flora was being destroyed, and the climate was out of control. Humanity was starving to death, but the machines adapted and developed new survival strategies, ultimately using humans as part of their new power source, with the help of a virtual simulated prison that would later become known as the Matrix. It's funny how a man intended to deprive the machines of their sustenance, yet instead, he ended up depriving humanity of theirs. Now comes our favorite part, the philosophical symbolism of this event in The Matrix. The darkening of the sky, as well as the simulation itself, are references to the allegory of the cave. Plato explains in the allegory how we perceive reality and how we can reach true knowledge. Imagine this: a group of people have been chained inside a cave all their lives, and they can only see what is directly in front of them, which is the cave wall. Behind them there's a fire, and between the flame and the people inside the cave, there are objects or figures that are casting large shadows on the cave wall. Remember that the people can only see what is in front of them. They can't turn around to see the fire and the figures behind them. These shadows are the only things the trapped people can see. So to them, those shadows are their reality. They have never seen anything else, so they don't know that they are seeing only a very small part of the world. Now imagine that one of those prisoners is released and forced to leave the cave. The brightness of the sun blinds him because his eyes are used to the darkness. He is lost and disoriented because everything he thought was real was a lie. Yet little by little, he adapts and starts to understand that there is more to the world than just those shadows inside the cave. He learns what the sun is and understands that it is the source of all life. It is absolute truth. So the newly freed and enlightened man returns to the cave to tell the others of his experience. But the others don't believe him. The other prisoners think that he is crazy. They don't believe that there is a giant fireball up on the sky, because to them, the only things that are real to them are the shadows on the cave wall. They were so against what the freedom man was saying about the outside world that the prisoners could have become violent towards him. Remember that their entire world was inside the cave, and the freed man was threatening their reality. Plato used this story to show that we often settle for a limited view of reality because it is easier. The sun in the allegory represents true knowledge, a deep understanding, but reaching it requires effort, sacrifice, and sometimes facing things that we don't want to, taking accountability. Now returning to the Matrix, Neo and Trinity are the only two humans that flew above the dark clouds. Neo felt the true warmth of the sun, but Trinity was the one who saw it for herself. Does that make her more enlightened than Neo, since she saw the sun? Maybe. Feel free to discuss that in the comments. But considering Plato's allegory of the cave, Trinity would be the one who escaped the cave. And about the future, Matrix 5 is in the works, but we still don't know what's it going to be about as of this video. If by any chance the film covers the time when humanity destroyed the sky, it should be like the movie Oppenheimer, with the creation, execution, and finally the regret of Operation Dark Storm. We want to see in a Matrix movie that moment when humanity realizes that they have doomed the world. But do you agree? Would you like to see The Matrix, Operation Dark Storm, the movie?
In Leyland Enterprises, we don't just shape the future, we redefine what's possible. By merging exquisite design with groundbreaking AI, we've created something truly extraordinary. A personal assistant that thinks for you. Even before you do, every detail, from its ultra-lightweight frame to its quantum algorithms, is engineered to simplify your life. Need a coffee? It makes one for you, just like that. Because at Leyland Enterprises, we believe in one simple truth. Nothing should stand between you and your comfort. Leyland Enterprises. Think different and leave the thinking to us.
That's a good video. I'll be right back. I have to bio break and I'll probably switch to a game. I posted this to social media. I forgot to ink in his glasses. Yeah. Anyway, I'll be right back. Donkey Kong time.
You choose her or not choose wrong. With a skipper heart, she's one cool calm. Her DK, Donkey Kong. He has no style. He has no grace. This Kong has a funny face. He can handstand when he needs to and stretch his arms out just for you. Inflate himself just like a balloon. This crazy Kong just digs his tune. DK, Donkey Kong. DK, Donkey Kong. DK, Donkey Kong is here. He's back again and about time too. And this time, he's in the mood. He can fly real high with his jetpack on. With his pistols out, he's one tough Kong. He'll make you smile when he plays his tune. But gremlins beware, cause he's after you. DK, Donkey Kong. Finally, he's here here for you. It's the last member of the DK crew. This Kong's so strong, it isn't funny. Can make a gremlin cry out for mommy. Can pick up a boulder with relative ease. Makes crushing rocks seem such a breeze. He may move slow, he can't jump high, but this Kong's one hell of a guy. Huh. Come on, Cranky, take it to the fridge. Walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells. Grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells. Grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells. Grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells. Grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells. Grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells. Grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells. Grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells. Grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells. Grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells. Grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells. Grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells. Grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells. Grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells. Grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells. Grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells. Grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells. Grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells. Grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells. Grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. You choose her or not choose her. With a skipper heart. She's one cool, calm, her DK. Donkey Kong. He has no style. He has no grace. This Kong has a funny face. He can handstand when he needs to and stretch his arms out just for you. Inflate himself just like a balloon. This crazy Kong just digs his tune. Huh, DK. Donkey Kong. Huh, DK. Donkey Kong. DK. Donkey Kong is here. He's back again and about time too. And this time, he's in the mood. He can fly real high with his jetpack on. With his pistols out. He's one tough Kong. He'll make you smile when he plays his tune. But gremlins beware, cause he's after you. Huh, DK. Donkey Kong. Huh. Finally, he's here for you. It's the last member of the DK crew. This Kong's so strong, it isn't funny. Can make a gremlin cry out for mommy. Can pick up a boulder with relative ease. Makes crushing rocks seem such a breeze. He may move slow, he can't jump high, but this Kong's one hell of a guy. Come on, Cranky, take it to the fridge. Walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. You choose her or not choose for with a skipper heart. She's one cool, calm, DK. Donkey Kong. He has no style. He has no grace. This Kong has a funny face. He can handstand when he needs to and stretch his arms out just for you. Inflate himself just like a balloon. This crazy Kong just digs his tune. DK. Donkey Kong. DK.
Yeah. Listen, or shall I watch something? Shit. This game. This is a new blue-black deck I made. I know it says important, but I just haven't changed the name since like a few decks ago, so I don't even, it's not even imported really. I don't even know if the original card that was imported is in here. I don't think that's good. What's up, Doc? Guess I'll put that in here. Good. Oh. Oh. Hmm. Zombified's overpowered, I think. just got your message, baby. Sad to see you fade away. I just got your message, baby. Just got your message, baby. It's sad to see you fade away. I just got your message, baby. It's sad to see you fade away. I just got your message, baby. It's sad to see you fade away. Just got your message, baby. It's... Oops. Oh, baby. Tell me about tell me tell me why. Tell me why. Wait, for really reals? I should have saved a counter, I guess. I need more whatchamacallits. There's not a lot of removal all clearing the board with that I have. There is for black, but what I have is not exactly helping. This card doesn't seem to really help that much. as much as I want it to. I get more mill out of this and this, which I don't have enough fucking wild cards yet, but let's see. Tell me what. Oh, I thought I had this card in my deck. I must have took it out on accident. These two. Why didn't I have these all? Must have forgot to put them back in. That's game. Oh, it's... Stupid ass game. Better give me a fucking. Oh, Jesus Christ. That's gonna suck. What the fuck? I ain't gonna get him in time. Ah, shit. Should I have kept that fucking thing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ah, fuck me. I should have kept my fucking patchwork banner. I probably would have discard it anyway. This is not... I lost 4 life. And I died. Man, can't do shit. Just making decks. And I could play something funner like Brawl, but... I don't know, Brawl just gets... I don't know what it is about the other ones. I'm just not really digging them, because they end up banning stuff from them too. Which just... Why don't you ban other stuff? What is the... I don't understand the, like, logic behind bans. What you should ban, what you shouldn't. I'll probably get going soon. I gotta do something in a bit. I don't want to be too tired when I do it. But I'll come back. Oh. took out a green card. Do I still need green? I forget. Might not be. Why? Ay, ay, ay. Bullshit! Bullshit, bullshit. Oh. What's this shit? Probably has something that does direct damage. Or using their cracked out ability. I wish my destroy all or this spell was actually useful. Are you for really reals, dude? I don't even have anything in my graveyard to fucking get it. So dumb. I ain't got shit. I'm good. Can you save me? Or do they have hexproof? Oh, fuck it. That's so dumb, dude. I hate this game. Oh, good. They only have hexproof on their turn. What? Get out of here. You know, so mean. It doesn't matter. I can't do anything about fucking Bahamut hitting me for 9. Such dumb shit. Just phase out all the Final Fantasy cards. If you're gonna fucking just be so selective. And just phase out stuff. I don't know. Magic's so dumb. Let's see what packs I get. Better give me a fucking mythic rare and a wild card. Just give him every fucking time. If you want me to play more. Give me the cards that I can fucking make. Just give me fucking wild cards. And as many as I want. So I can do the shit that I want to do. Rather than have your hand held and shit. I just get sick of that. Let me make just decks I want to make rather than fucking banning cards and many people come in and fucking recommend dumb shit. Who's the king of Magic? Who gets to decide what the fuck's good and what's not? Is it the people that invest into it? Is it the people that fucking buy out booster boxes and fucking hawk them on eBay and shit? It's not me. I don't control this dumb shit. I don't make boring ass sets that go nowhere. It's not my fault. So let me play with my fucking cards, bitch. Stop making me waste rares and then fucking losing the card later just because of what gets banning. Give me back my fucking wild card if that's the case. This shit's just gonna fucking Hasbro ass. This card sucks. So many sucky cards. I hate it. This is another sad band, but I actually really like them. I think what got me into listening to This Will Destroy You was bands like Godspeed. Of course. I probably should have. That's fine. They better not have a negate. Or a counterspell. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. No. These sweaty ass standard decks. And blue. Blue doing like direct damage to you. Not direct damage, but just 1/1 flyers and shit. Magic just feels so... Every deck feels the same, I think is what I'm trying to get at. Nothing feels like exclusive, like, unless it's like red. Red's just there to fucking get its shit way faster. And that's why I feel like... I think I like these things better to get the land faster out. These seem to be helping me a lot better than the patchwork artifacts. This is a good song. I'll try one more game, then I gotta go. So basically, I got one turn after this. And then it's like, game. Because I can't do anything. I literally have to have... fucking, removal by turn 2 or 3. Something... Like, the only thing that would have saved me is getting a Zombify right now, but I'm not. Because I need 4 mana to cast Zombify. Like, how do you keep... It's like, and no wonder people drop... The player rate drops off. because it's all just like players can't get into this. This is not a real fucking healthy way to ever get new players. It's like having fun stuff and then just dropping it for this like bullshit. I mean, like nothing but removal. It was funny, I was reading a topic on Reddit about these players that were like with a match with their friends, and it was literally just like nothing but removal. No one was getting to play the game. It was just like remove this, remove that. Whenever someone plays something, remove it, remove it, remove it. It's just like that's not a fucking. I don't know. It's like Go Fish or some shit. It's not Magic. This doesn't feel like Magic. I don't think the people who are in charge of Magic understand how to make Magic fun or make it worth fucking not people hating on it all the time. And I wish people would be more transparent about the shady stuff behind people selling cards, because I feel like that affects my tinfoil hat theory with Magic is just the people that are putting money into it constantly are also they're making the cards in favor of them. That's why red is always dominant. It's never not red. It's never top games are not red. And you can't ever get the balance out. You can't just balance it out. It's more broken than like Street Fighter. Street Fighter 6, I can get on that and probably have a lot more fun trying to get better. Because I feel like I'm as good at Magic as I'll ever be, but I can't fix like the stupid people that make it. And I don't feel like the people who make Street Fighter are stupid. I feel like they really are trying to make new things and just keep the game fresh. But Magic's not. Even when Planeswalker first drops, I'd never really cared for Planeswalkers. I still don't. I still think they're kind of cool, like lore-wise. But having a Planeswalker as a player, or whatever, a separate entity that you have to attack, I always just thought it was kind of stupid. But that was when Magic was starting to, like, add on more. In, like, the early 2000s. And I don't know. There's so many useless cards. You need the fucking beta more than anything to be good. But I just don't like to... Me personally, I just don't like to fucking learn the cards cost. It's too much of information overload to keep up with everything. Because I feel like it's just pointless in the end. Because it's always just gonna be centered around certain cards that are gonna be hard to get, or like rares, and it's like more grind. It's just a cycle, more grinding, more fucking. That's why I get sick of this so fast. I still like playing it, but I like playing with decks that suck. I don't like importing decks and shit. If I import a deck, it's usually a sucky deck. Just kind of, I want to play around a card. Because I think that's fun. I think that's what's fun, is being creative. That creativity to me is more funner than winning. Winning with a deck that you made is just much more worthwhile than copy and pasting all this bullshit that's already predetermined and made to be broken because they don't give a fuck. They've already said they don't care about shit being broken. So I just don't buy fucking cards anymore. I did buy the Final Fantasy shit, just because I'm a Final Fantasy nut. I'm just thinking of what else to do with this stupid deck. I know I want to mill, but I ain't got enough shit to, like... I would have to add white, which I had earlier, but I don't know why I took it out. Maybe I should just make it white. Well, then I gotta take it out. There's no white, blue, black, right? That pisses me off too. There's certain colors that don't have like all three colors. They only have it for certain, I think. Or I could be wrong. Red, nope, it's only in black. Green, blue. So I can't have a card that taps her through, which I was trying to go for. That's why I added green, but green doesn't seem to be helping. So now I have to possibly add white. Right? Take out that shit. That shit. Alright, this will be my last game, I swear. Win or lose. I'm just curious how this will do now, adding white. Wait. Did I edit the wrong deck? Why was it? Wait, what? Wait. Okay, white, blue. I'm colorblind. I thought that was green, dude. Oh my god. I thought that was the fucking tree. And it was just a white sun or whatever. Godzilla. Mm-mm. Why? So dumb, they could just surveil and sacrifice. So fucking stupid. And it's a fucking uncommon. Or a it's so dumb. Now this shit. Just because they need a black means an attacker every fucking turn. Why? Game again. So, removal every turn. I have to fucking remove shit. You can't play the game. It's just remove, remove, remove. What is that? Is that strategy? Is that a real fucking game? What the fuck? I'm sick of removal. I hate that the only way to win is removal. Clearing the board, clearing the board. Why isn't there a destroy all enchantments card? Why isn't there a destroy all enchantments card? Why is there a destroy all artifacts card? Why is there a destroy all creatures card? Why is there a destroy all vehicles cards? Where is the fucking destroy all enchantments card? I'm gonna go. I don't care anymore. This game's stupid. Fuck it. Suck! Suck! I love you. Goodbye. Love you. Bye. Please survive throughout the day. Peace.